2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
Yeah, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. Hey, it is a post-Monday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week, and we have plenty to talk about today. Government shutdown continues. The SAVE Act moving through. Will we see that go forward at all? And we got a couple great guests for you. Bottom of the hour, we have Jeffrey Garish, a former ambassador for the Trump administration. We'll talk about tariffs, the economy, and more. Right out of the gate, top of the hour, we're going to have Congressman Bob Latta from the 5th District of the state of Ohio. So looking forward to that one.
30 seconds till broadcast.
That being said, make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for a post-Monday celebration. That's right, today is Tuesday. All right, hang tight. Here we go.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your post-Monday celebration. Greatest day of the entire week. We have made it through the hardest day, which is Monday. Now you see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to carpe diemisms all over the place. I'm sticking to it. That's right. Well, welcome into the show. It's always great to have you. We got a big show lined up for you today. We have a potential new Democrat platform out there. Democrats are campaigning on something quite interesting.
Say what?
Are you ready for it? We'll break some of that down here in just a little bit. First and foremost, it is the voice of reason. My name's Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, doing our thing like we do. Oops, no, let's try that one. There we go, every single day here on the program. Bottom of the hour, we have Jeffrey Garish on the program. He's a former ambassador for the Trump administration. We are going to talk about Trump tariffs, which are very controversial, apparently, because, well, Donald Trump wants to balance out the trade deals. So we'll get with him in just a little bit and talk about that. Also, right out of the gate here, we sat down earlier today with Congressman Bob Latta. Been a while since we've chatted with him. He is from the 5th Congressional District of the state of Ohio. As we talk about the government shutdown, the funding for Department of Homeland Security, the SAVE Act, and where we're at in Washington, D.C., because apparently that's not going anywhere. The speculation is we could see a government shutdown for at least a week or more. Is that really true? And could we see an end to the filibuster soon in the Senate in order to pass the SAVE Act along with other pieces of legislation? We did all that and more with Congressman Bob Latta from the 5th District of the state of Ohio, and this is what he had to say. Congressman, how are you, my friend?
Dandy, thanks very much.
Yeah,
beautiful day.
Absolutely. Great to have you on the show again. First off, we got to talk about government shutdown. House, you guys did your job actually passing the appropriations process and then repassing again Department of Health and Department of Homeland Security funding. This is getting a little crazy. The reforms of ICE, the calls for the abolition of ICE altogether. Congressman, I don't know where we're going to get out of this and when we could see the government fully open again.
Well, I think people need to remember the Republicans in the House of Representatives, we've done our job. The Senate tried to do their job, but again, it's Schumer and the Senate Democrats. And again, we didn't get any really Democrats to support this legislation as it left the House. So it's important that people realize that with when you think about Department of Homeland Security, it's just not ICE, and that's all you hear about. Well, you have the Coast Guard, you have the TSA, so all those people working at the airport, You have FEMA there. You have the Border Patrol. So you have all of these different branches underneath of it. And it's important that they get funded and get funded quickly. Yeah. And that's, again, since we went in another, even a partial shutdown, I once again told the House, don't pay me, because especially with those who are out there on the front line and our Coast Guard, I don't think members should get paid either.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you think it was a mistake for the Senate to even split DHS funding away from the rest of the appropriations? Because you guys passed those in a big lump sum with all the appropriations at the same time. Was it a mistake to try and separate those to even have a conversation about reforms at this point in the game?
Well, and that's a problem. Did they really think the Democrats were going to sit down and actually try to honestly have a honest conversation over this? Yeah. Again, this kind of gives them an out. You got 96% of the government funded, and so all of a sudden now they can say, well, we're going to get rid of ICE, but they better be careful what they wish for. Yeah. And we've seen with Homan going into Minnesota, they pulled these people back out. And these people perform a necessary job. I mean, people always have to remember, it was Joe Biden, before he even took the oath of office, that said, hey, the border's open. Over 10 million people crossed. And with those 10 million people, it was the Border Patrol that always told us, on my 4 visits down there, the ones they really were concerned about were the ones they called the gotaways. These are the people that did not want to get caught. Right. And the question is, who are they, where are they, and what are they up to?
Yeah. It's insane. Hopefully we can get this resolved relatively quickly. Like you said, it's more than just ICE funding. And while they said they wanted basic reforms, now we're hearing the calls to just remove the agency altogether, and that's kind of insane. Let's shift gears slightly to the SAVE Act. That's caused a lot of controversy as well. The Jim Crow laws 2.0, according to the Democrats, by saying that we're going to have voter ID laws in the nation. Congressman, again, you guys were able to pass this out of the House of Representatives. What did that conversation look like, and why in the world did you only get one Democrat vote on this in the House?
Well, once again, if you think about what you have to have, you got to have an ID to get on an airplane. You got to have an ID to buy a beer about everywhere in the country. You go down the entire, I remember once going into a post office, say, if you're going to cash a check here, you got to show your ID at the post office. So you couldn't even send a letter. And when you look at the overall Americans look at this and they say, yeah, we do believe you should be able to have to show an ID to vote. I think it's 35 or 36 states, Ohio being one, that you have to show an ID to vote. There's nothing wrong with that. And, the problem that we've had happen is over all the years, when people never moved and you stayed in one place, you go to the voting, everybody knew everybody. Yep. Well, today, people are so mobile, you don't know who's who. And it's important that people know that only the people that are supposed to be voting are voting. And so the Democrats in Congress are way off base on this thing. Even Democrats as a majority believe you should have to show an ID. So it's ludicrous on their part, but it's important that you have making sure that we have very fair and secure elections out there.
Yeah, I've just never understood their argument against it, because their argument is such a derogatory remark, where their claim is the fact that minorities and apparently women are too poor and too stupid to update their IDs, to update their state-issued IDs, and therefore, by forcing people to actually have an issued ID in order to present that at the voting booth, that minorities especially, they're just too poor and too stupid to figure out how to do that. Like, I would think that that's one of the most derogatory remarks that you could make.
Well, if you think about your driver's licenses, like here in Ohio, if you don't have a driver's license, they'll issue a state ID, so you have an ID. So if you go in for, not just for voting, but for anything, to go cash a check or whatever, you've got to have an ID. So I think it's a losing issue on their side, but it's an issue that the American people truly believe in. That you need to have an ID to vote.
Yeah, it's insane. We're talking with Congressman Bob Latta, great state of Ohio, from the 5th District. Let's shift gears to the economy for just a moment. We saw for the month of January that inflation's at a record low at 2.4%. We haven't seen those numbers since March of 2021. Still remnants of the past Trump economy, and we saw wages go up for the first time in a long time as well for January, getting the economy back on track when we see no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security with the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Congressman, are we on the brink of the quote-unquote golden age of America that President Trump talks about?
Well, you're right. When you look at where inflation is today, people have got to go back and remember it was Joe Biden and the Democrats that took inflation at 9.1%. And Joe didn't even remember that he was the one that caused it. He said, "I didn't do that." He said, "Oh, yes, you did." And then when you look at the unemployment rate at 4.3%, I have about 86,000 manufacturing jobs in my district. You go through any business, any hospital, anywhere. And the number one issue you have out there, and I'm going to be going through them tomorrow, that people say we can't find people to work. So when you look at where we are out there, I think the economy is, moving along. But at the same time, it's because of what you brought up about that One Big Beautiful Bill or the Working Families Tax Relief Act, is that if we had not acted, and again, Republicans had not acted, back in 2017, they got this economy moving, and then everything was going to expire at the end of last year, everything that we had done. And people would have gone crazy to see how much their income taxes would have skyrocketed on April the 15th. So we're going to ensure that Americans keep those dollars in their own pocket, that we're going to ensure that, small businesses out there have the ability to keep operating, especially under what they say the 199 provision.
Yeah.
And it's important because, again, if all of a sudden you tax the daylights out of small businesses, you tax the daylights out of businesses, what are they going to do? Some are either going to close or they're going to have to pass that tax on to who? The consumer.
Yeah. No, it's insane. At the same time, I know the economy is trying to get back on track with the quote-unquote the trigger word of the day, affordability. I know you're on the Committee for Energy and Commerce. Let's talk about energy because that's helping lower a lot of these prices right now. But we're getting oil reserves back on track. We're seeing the energy market actually realize that we have a major demand coming up relatively soon. We saw the announcement of the EPA and the Trump team last week talk about some major deregulation. It sounds like that energy has been a major focus right now for you guys in Congress and for Trump.
Well, let's go back to that One Big Beautiful Bill. One of the things you said was, look, we're not going to subsidize electric vehicles. And what I've always said, and Republicans say, we think the American people should have that choice, what they want to drive, not the federal government mandating it. And when you look at what the Biden administration had done, they put unreasonable, unattainable standards out there for internal combustion engines. So the companies, all the car companies, just say we could never meet them. And so we got rid of that. We got rid of that $7,500. We're going to make sure that people drive what they want. But also on the oil and natural gas side and everything else we've done on the nuclear, we need more power in this country. I serve as the energy subcommittee chair. And when you think about we're taking, and this is massive, 115 gigawatts of power offline. That's coal. And then we need 160 on top of that. So we're down 275. And if we don't have that power out there, my people that work in manufacturing and any place else can't afford to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
So, when we go to the gas pump, people always remember we're gasoline prices with Joe Biden. We looked at, $4.50, $5 in parts of the country. And what the Democrats are doing and Governor Newsom out in California, they're forcing all the refineries out that they might be paying $7 a gallon for gasoline in some areas of California in the very near future.
Yeah, it's insane. And you brought up nuclear, by the way. Last question for you, Congressman, as we wrap things up. Are you seeing a renewed focus on the nuclear side of things? I know the technology is beginning to grow again. We're seeing new technology come out. Here in Kansas, we saw the very first mini reactor that was built underneath the small town of Parsons, a mile down underground, as kind of an experimental trial thing. It's really exciting. Are you seeing a lot more businesses and areas focused on nuclear power?
Well, and in fact, there's just an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning about a small reactor that the military is looking at. There's another project there. The military is working with the Department of Energy, these smaller ones, and they're small modular reactors. Even though, we had two large ones go online. The first one's going online in the mid-1970s. The only way we're going to be able to meet the upcoming power demand is by nuclear. And I think you're seeing really a seismic shift in Washington over the last 10 years. If somebody would have said nuclear 10 years ago, you'd have been laughed out of town.
Yep.
And today people are saying, you know what, we have to have nuclear. And I've had legislation on uranium because we have to have it. I believe we should recycle our spent nuclear rods. The French have been doing it for decades. We have over an estimate of 100 to 150 years of power just from those spent nuclear rods that we have stored all around the country at the nuclear sites right now.
Yeah. It's exciting. I love seeing the transition that we're seeing, and you know what? The demand is forcing us to go that direction and away from some of these other alternative energies that we've been really trying to focus on that have done not a whole lot for us in general. It is Congressman Bob Latta from the 5th District of the great state of Ohio. Great update from Washington, D.C. Congressman, as always, we always appreciate the time, appreciate what you guys are doing up there. We look forward to getting you back on the show again soon.
Greatly appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, Congressman Bob Latta from the 5th District of Ohio. Great conversation with him earlier today. And where are we at with government shutdown? It doesn't seem like it's going anywhere anytime soon. We'll break some of that down when we come back around the corner for your post-Monday celebration here on the program. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, it is. What's up, my friends? Welcome back into it. It is your post-Monday celebration here for the Voice of Reason. By the way, if you have not signed up for our newsletter, it is coming out the first Monday of the month. I will have it on time this time. Well, become the latest Hoosier-holic by signing up at HoosierReason.com. Also, I want to tell you about my friends at Lean. If you have not gotten Lean yet, you need to try it. It is amazing. I feel awesome. I've been doing it for just over, a month and a half now, and I feel absolutely great. Because as you know, if you are trying to go through your New Year's resolution, everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are pretty dramatic. And they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. But if you're looking for weight loss but not interested in some of the painful weekly injections, especially, by the way, when you hear about some of the intense side effects that they can have. That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are pretty remarkable. The stated ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and your cravings, so you're just not as hungry. And I see that as a good thing. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters that want to lose 10 pounds or more. And let's get you started on that journey today. Go to TakeLean.com and use our promo code REASON here for the radio show. We'll get started off with the 20% off on 20% off on your order and free rush shipping when you add Lean to your healthy diet and your exercise plan. Go to TakeLean.com, use the promo code REASON. Again, TakeLean.com, use the promo code REASON. Get 20% off right now and free rush shipping, and do it right now. All right, so I have a new theory on what the platform is for the Democrat Party.
What's trending today?
And I find it kind of hilarious because it's not going to work out for them, or at least so we think. Who knows? I mean, the Democrat Party is kind of evolving as it is. But apparently the whole Munich Security Conference is wrapped up now globally. And there are two new platforms that Democrats have come out with the people that they claim to be the new leaders of the Democrat Party. And that is Hillary Clinton, which is kind of funny in itself, Gavin Newsom, and AOC.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
I know, that's where we're at now. I mean, if that's the Democrat Party, then that's where they're at.
Marco Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that.
Okay, that's oh man, it makes my brain hurt a little bit. But look, these are the people that they're trying to hype up as the leaders for the Democrat Party now. But there is a new platform that they are pitching, and they talked about it at the Munich Security Conference. And they've talked about it here on the home front. The latest out of the New York Times was Zohran Mamdani, the golden child of AOC, has now, according to the New York Times, has proposed threatening a 9.5% property tax increase for those within the city if they do not pass a wealth tax. Now, the wealth tax has been discussed on many different fronts. It was discussed by Gavin Newsom at the World Economic Forum just a few weeks ago, where he said he's not in favor of it, but the state of California wanting to pass it anyways, where he's trying to play the middle-of-the-road guy, but behind the scenes really kind of supports it, right? That's kind of the guy he is. AOC also talking about it at the Munich Security Conference this past week as well, saying that it does need to happen with a wealth tax because we want to go after the rich millionaires and billionaires. So I ask you, I ask you the simple question. The wealth tax that Democrats are now proposing, I don't know where the whole affordability talk went. That went out the window now that Donald Trump addressed affordability. I don't know where that conversation is, but now we're hearing that, according to Zohran Mamdani, Gavin Newsom, AOC, the trigger word of the day is a wealth tax because we're going to go after the major millionaires and billionaires in the nation. And if you do not support that, then you're just not progressive enough. If that is the platform of the Democrat Party, good luck with that. We'll see how well that turns out for you. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Can you wait for AOC to become the presidential nominee for the Democrats? Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Mid-America.
truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, it is. What's up, my friends? Welcome back into it. It is your post-Monday celebration here on the program. I love watching this whole Munich thing fall into place. The Democrat stance, the platform. Kind of entertaining to watch. Donald Trump, by the way, speaking on that as he was on Air Force One, I believe, headed back from the convention.
I watched AOC answering questions in Munich. This was not a good look for the United States. I watched Gavin Newsom answering questions in Munich, and this was a bad look for our country. These two people are incompetent. And at least Hillary's competent. She's just Trump deranged. She was so deranged. And she is an angry woman. But I watched the other two speaking and answering basic questions. Look, Gavin has destroyed California. And AOC, I never heard her speak very much. And they started answering questions. She had no idea what was happening. She had no idea how to answer, very important questions concerning the world.
Well, she just can't do it. She really can't. By the way, that's our favorite person here on the program, right?
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
Come on, man. That's please. If there's a higher power, which we know there is, we cannot wait to see AOC become that presidential ticket candidate for the other side, because it is going to be a major bomb on there. And all right, let's shift gears a little bit. Speaking of
what's trending today,
speaking of foreign policy, the trade battle that's going on, trade deficits that Donald Trump's been working on, the economy that's starting to uptick. As you know, we saw for the month of January, we saw low inflation, 2.4%, the lowest that we've seen since March of 2021. That was, by the way, the residual of the Trump effect of 1.0 of the administration. Wages are up, while at the same time, the tariff battles continue on, where, according to the media and the Democrats, they said that if we impose all these tariffs and all these trade wars, that we would see the economy crash, we would see the inflation skyrocket, we would see empty shelves on the big box stores. Did it happen? No, it did not. That's where we go to with our next guest on the program.
Let's go to the Hooser Media Hotline.
That's right. Really happy to have on the program. He's an ambassador, also former deputy U.S. trade representative under Trump admin 1.0. Really happy to have on here Jeffrey Garish. Jeff, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Andy. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, my friend. Excited to chat with you. Man, what a time we're living in right now. We see what Donald Trump says is the quote-unquote golden age of America right around the corner, with the tariff battles that are still going on. And while the media and the quote-unquote economists and the Democrats and all these people are talking about hysteria about how bad these trade wars are going on right now, doesn't seem like to be affecting us like they told us, Jeff.
No, that's absolutely right. All these people have been proven wrong time and time again. They, as you said, they warned everybody that when the president came into office and started imposing tariffs, that the economy was going to fall apart. We were going to see spikes in inflation, and it was going to be a complete disaster. And just the opposite has been true. The president has been getting win after win after win in the trade space. The tariffs have been effective, and he's used them to get a number of trade deals around the world as well. I think right now we're getting close to 20 trade deals that he's negotiated, where we're getting access to other countries' markets, and we're keeping the tariffs in place to make sure we're incentivizing the return of manufacturing and investments here to rebuild our manufacturing base that was so decimated after decades of failed U.S. trade policies. The president's done an amazing job in turning that around, and he's been very focused on it.
Yeah, no doubt. Talk about the difference between when you were with him, obviously with Trump admin 1.0, and now the mindset of Donald Trump, and the difference on how he's been enacting policy, because he came out out of the gate running hard for this Trump admin 2.0, and we impose these tariffs within months of the administration kicking off and getting things established. A little bit different from what we had seen in the Trump admin 1.0, where he tried to do some of this but didn't really get very far. What do you think the big difference is here?
Yeah, he really has focused on really coming out of the gates very quickly, and he's using other tools that are available to him beyond what he used in the first term. He's using, he's putting tariffs in place under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, as we've all heard it referred to, which gives him a lot of flexibility to put tariffs in place very quickly and to adjust them as necessary as he goes forward to achieve different purposes. And he can use them, and he is using them not only for pure trade purposes, but to address other foreign policy issues that we're experiencing around the world. He's threatening them on countries that are trading with Iran or trading with Cuba, and he can use them in a number of different ways. And I think what he wanted to do coming in, the first term was important because what we were doing was basically turning the ship around in trying to reverse these failed trade policies of the past. And that took some time, but he was very successful in doing it, and he was very committed to doing it. And then now coming in this term, he hit the ground running and was ready to go forward very quickly and use all the tools available to him. And he's been doing it very effectively. And he's got a great team around him that are putting all this in place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What does the relationship look like for the United States and other nations? We hear the rumor and, again, the fear-mongering, the hysteria from the other side that says that by imposing these trade wars and imposing these tariffs and trying to bring these countries to the table, that it's going to scare them off and that it's going to make them run to other nations for their resources and run to other nations to create better trade deals with them and not worry about all these tariffs being imposed by the United States. Is our relationship with these foreign countries better or weaker, do you think, under these current trade policies?
I think it's better because, the fact of the matter is we have the biggest market in the world. And, who are the alternatives for these countries? Are they going to go to China? They're of course they're not going to go to China because the fact is China puts in place the strongest, burdens on any country trading with them. And they're going to always look to take advantage of other countries just the way they've done historically. So these countries don't, have a good option other than the United States, and we've always been their strongest ally and their strongest defender around the world. So they don't really have a good alternative to go anywhere else other than the United States. And the fact is, I think there's a lot of recognition in other countries and around the world that yes, the rules of the trading system have been flawed and problematic, and there's real problems with them that the president has identified. And I think they recognize we do have to address those. The president's trying to do that, and we're trying to work with other countries to do it and to make sure that China doesn't come in and just dominate the world in all the important industries that are going to be critical for us going forward.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to go there with you with China and ask if that was the biggest threat that we had around the world. Kevin O'Leary was on the media recently talking about the threat of China and how we should be probably taking them a bit more serious. This is what he had to say.
We're getting to a place now where there's only one adversary, and I think it's time to just call it out. China. That's it. And so you either are with us, so to speak, against China, or you're not, because China is getting ready for world dominance. And I call it what it is. Economically, militarily, AI, power, you name it, those guys are not fooling around. And if we don't wake up and get together on this, they will be the superpower. Now, if you're okay with that, and you want to live in that kind of a world, well, I don't.
Yeah. So, Jeff, do you agree with that? Is that the big threat? And should we be paying more attention to the nation of China, do you think?
I agree 100%. That is our biggest threat by far. And Kevin's exactly right across all those different facets, economically, militarily, and AI, and all these different areas. They have set out, they have a plan that President Xi put in place back in 2015. It's the Made in China 2025 plan. And what they set out to do is to achieve world dominance in a number of different critical industries, and then to prepare themselves to be able to dominate the world and be the world's biggest superpower. And of course, they're using all of the funds that they're getting through trade, and they have over $1 trillion trade surplus that they're using to fund their military, and they're exerting themselves in Asia and around the world, and they're a real threat. Now, the huge threat to Taiwan is one that folks might wonder, well, wait a minute, why are we so worried about Taiwan? Well, first of all, it affects the trading routes in Asia pretty significantly if we lose Taiwan. Plus, we have the issue with semiconductor and semiconductor production in Taiwan, which obviously we're trying to reshore here to the U.S., but that's a significant concern going forward. So I think we need to be more focused on China and the threat that China poses to us.
Why do you think, Jeff, that we allowed ourselves to be in such a trade deficit, and especially with the nation of China, when we rely almost completely on Asia for semiconductors or for pharmaceutical pills or for computer chips and technology? Why in the world did we outsource all of that to work and we're completely helpless and dependent on that industry?
It is a huge failure that we had that led to all this. And the problem was, we let China into the World Trade Organization back in 2001, and we gave them most favored trading status with us at that time. And because of that, they took advantage of us. And a number of companies here in the U.S. thought, oh, well, China's a big market. We'll take advantage of that market. It'll, them getting into the WTO and us giving them normal trade relations, that'll open up the Chinese market. Well, that was just a fallacy at the time. And it's been proven wrong. And I think we suffered as a result of it because all it did was open up our market to the Chinese, and they've taken advantage of it, and now we're paying the price. But I will say the president started with the first term. He recognized it. And I will say the president's been talking about this for decades. He's recognized the problem well before he became president.
Sure.
But when he became president, he took action right away, and he's become even more focused on it in this term.
Well, and we need to, but it's very difficult to do because, like you said, no one else has done it. No one else has been able to flex that muscle or use the leverage that we have, and that's made it very difficult for him when he's tried to do it right now. We're talking with the Ambassador Jeff Garish. He is a former Deputy U.S. Trade Representative under the Trump admin 1.0. Hang on the line, Jeff. When we come back, I want to continue this conversation and look at the long-term trade agreements, what we can do to leverage other nations. We just came out of this Munich Security Conference. The Democrats that have now tried to publicly and globally shamed the Trump administration for their own political leverage. Not sure if it's quite working well for them or not, but we'll speculate on some of that when we come back around the corner for your Voice of Reason on a Tuesday. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
Oh, hey, sorry, I was just enjoying one of my snacks during the break. You know, it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives, but I'm here to tell you that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it.
Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I worry about AI. I worry about a number of things, Martha. I worry about companies using artificial intelligence to surveil Americans. I worry about invasions of privacy. I worry a lot about political bias. If you go back to 2020, 2021, Google search was so biased in a left-wing direction that I think it actually changed America's political system. I don't want that to happen with artificial intelligence. So there are a lot of things we are worried about.
So that's Vice President J.D. Vance. He was on Fox News earlier today. Interesting information. The battle for AI rages on. The new technology, what is it? The Project Stargate that Trump admin announced like within a month or two of the first administration this past year. So the battle's on. Who can get the most technologically advanced AI? Not a lot of guardrails on there, but I guess we're moving somewhere with that AI. By the way, side note, not sure if people realize or not, or if they remember, today is the 5-year anniversary of Rush Limbaugh passing away. Yeah, today. Of course, the great radio icon, and the reason we have the talk radio format that we have today is because of the legend, the GOAT of Rush Limbaugh, passing away 5 years ago today. Interesting times. We are hanging out right now with Jeffrey Garish. He's former ambassador and working under the Trump administration 1.0 as we talk about trade relations, foreign relations, and so much more. Long term, do you think, Jeff, that we can sustain the trade deals that Donald Trump's been able to make here? We've shortened our trade deficits. Why we allowed a trade deficit in the first place is crazy. I mean, Jeff, we have literal departments of hundreds of workers that apparently were like, gee, maybe we should update the current deals that we have in order for us to not lose a buttload of money. But apparently that was not in the radar for them. Can we sustain this long term, and can we actually start seeing a trade surplus in this nation because of trade policies?
I think it is sustainable, Andy, and I think we have, and the president's using this incredibly well, and he recognizes that he can use it, which is our own economic leverage and trade leverage that we have as the biggest market in the world and the biggest economy in the world, and he has put in place these tariffs. It's interesting because, I think if you look back, a little over a year ago, and you ask people, well, are we going to have tariffs of 10, 15, 20% on countries around the world this time next year, and they would have looked at you like you were crazy. Now it's accepted, and even the European Union, which rails against tariffs, has accepted through their trade deal a 15% baseline tariff on their imports coming into the United States. So it's something that is sustainable. I think there's a recognition that these trade deficits are a huge problem for us. We're way too dependent on imports of critical products from around the world, particularly China. But it comes up with countries around the world as well. And we've hollowed out our manufacturing base in the United States. We need to rebuild that. We need to rebuild our self-sufficiency. And I think there has been a recognition in the United States, and the tide has turned. And all these predictions of terrible, terrible consequences from the tariffs, including inflation going out of control, just have been proven to be completely wrong.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I think we keep hearing, oh, well, companies are about to start increasing their prices. Well, we've been hearing about that for months. So I do think it's sustainable, and I think it's crucial that we do this because, again, we're far too dependent on other countries. We've been hearing about the rare earths problem, critical minerals, our reliance on China for pharmaceuticals. We have got to correct this, and we've got to become more self-sufficient, and I think it is achievable.
Yeah, I find it hilarious. We're almost a year in now with the tariff battle, and I haven't yet to see the inflation skyrocket. And in fact, like we just said, we saw record low inflation for the month of January, the lowest that we've seen since March of 2021. So I mean, maybe it's happening. It's kind of like the doomsday people. The end of the world's going to happen tomorrow, so get ready. And then when it misses, they just set a new date. Last question for you. We got just less than a minute here, but like you mentioned, we're moving in the right direction. Do you see us becoming a little bit more self-dependent in the fact that we may produce our own pharmaceuticals? We could start building our own semiconductors, computer chips, that sort of thing. Can we see that happen in the next year or two, do you think?
I do think that that's the case. And it's going to take some time. It may not be in the next year, but it may take a few years to happen, but it's happening already. Companies are already announcing significant investments. Pharmaceutical companies are announcing billions of dollars in investments here to produce here. Same with semiconductor companies. And the president's tariffs and trade policies are incentivizing them to locate here, to produce here, because otherwise they're going to be subject to tariffs. So it's really bringing back a lot of investment here. So we are going to become more self-sufficient in all these critical areas. And I think that's something that has been a significant win for the president, and it's something great to look forward to for us.
Making America great again. The golden age of America is upon us, according to the Trump administration. We just found more raw materials in the nation. We're building our manufacturing back up, and we're moving in that right direction. Jeff, we appreciate it, my friend. Got to get an update again from you real soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, you bet. Appreciate it. Great conversation. We'll do it again. Until then, back at it here on the radio. We'll see you back here soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason